CID bosses in this country have been extremely powerful people.
Therein lies your answer. There have been extremely powerful people, and the holders of those offices in the recent past, post the promulgation of the Constitution, have failed to apprehend the fact that that situation has changed. You are right. Before 2010 Constitution, the DCI was run as a covert arm of the police to meet terror, you understand, espionage. And this is the yester mindset that still resides in the mind and the functions of George Kinoti as the current Director of Criminal Investigation. He still thinks he's the supremo, as it was before the promulgation of the Constitution. But that notion must be removed from his head. It must be removed from the minds of all Kenyans. The state power of criminal prosecution is now streamlined under the Constitution. And any attempts to claw back on that definitive position in the Constitution must be fought. And as lawyers, we're determined to fight it. You understand? Yes.
And does it matter who is at the tail end of this injustice? And I ask this question because it would seem as though that there are those in this country for whom justice is a given, and then there are those in this country for whom it's a suggestion, and then for others who will face it regardless, depending on where in social strata you find yourself. So who is it for?
Justice is for all. You see, now you look at the manner in which justice is administered. It's supposed to be fair, equal to the high, to those who are low. There will be this lamentation that the Director of Public Prosecution is bending the law in the manner in which he makes decisions to charge. But if you are to examine all the cases that he's being accused of failing to make a decision to charge or failing to progress the prosecution, you'll be able to see the flaw. Let me pick the latest example. Look at this case. Is it the Ndichu brothers? The DCI had forwarded the file to the Director of Public Prosecution within a record 24 hours, saying, charge these two brothers. What did the DPP say? Have you ascertained whether those two gentlemen are licensed firearm holders? Have you looked at the CCTV? Have you ascertained whether a medical examination on the victims was done? I mean, which policeman or policewoman fails to do that? You know, unless you plan to tank these cases. Yeah. And files taken to the DPP are replete with these things. And if you are to evaluate it from that standpoint, you'll be able to see who between these two officers shoulders the highest degree of blame. In my opinion, is the Director of Criminal Investigations, because the moment the DPP takes the file and charges you and progresses the prosecution, the failure or success of that prosecution is on him. Why will he want to take a case that is doomed to fail?
So are you saying it's intentional?
As I said in the beginning, part of it is premeditated and part of it is just out of sheer
incompetence.
Yeah, and incompetence by some of these officers.
How about in the cases then where we see the DPP has taken a case to court and then makes applications later, let's say consolidate cases. There's the ongoing one. Consolidate a case because the DPP has realized that case number 1 and case number 2 have about the same people, have the same witnesses. And then 2 years down the road is when you're making that application. Let's consolidate this.
Look, everybody is prone to make mistakes. But if you make a mistake within the power you're given, you are entitled to make that mistake. No wonder, therefore, the law permits consolidation. It permits withdrawal of these charges. And you can't fault the DPP for taking that path as and when it proves prudent for him as the person in charge of state power of criminal prosecution. It's perfectly in order. But when all this is said and done, it depends on the quality of investigation, because he will always have volumes of files submitted to him. And from a cursory look of the report, part of it could be sustainable. But as you progress, you realize where the weaknesses are and the need for you to cobble your case in a particular way so that it succeeds.
Yes. It would seem as though, just from the examples that you've given and what you've said, is that you have a particular leaning towards the DPP and that the DCI here is at fault for most of these issues. Is that the case? And would your submissions be so strong had you not been on the firing end of the DCI at some point with some of the charges you said were brought against you?
You know, I have affinity of aligning myself to what is right, just, and lawful. And my opinion will not change, even if I was not subject of those two spurious charges. It wouldn't change. And you've seen, I've come out strongly in cases where I believe the DPP is on the wrong. I mean, let's not go far. When criminal charges were profiled against the Deputy Chief Justice who went to court, it was me. So this is an objective evaluation. And the point of discussion right now, insofar as the contest between the Director of Criminal Investigation and the Director of Public Prosecution is concerned, are 13 enumerated cases. And anybody reviewing those 13 cases will be able to see without any doubt who is on the wrong on this side. And this is how we are trained to think as lawyers, to be objective, to examine the facts and the law. So my opinion is very objective. And look, truth be told, I'm one of the individuals who, a few years ago, made a petition to remove the then Director of Public Prosecution, who is a current Cabinet Secretary, Kiraeko Tobiko, on cogent grounds. But what they're seeking to remove Nurdin Haji from office on is preposterous. It's preposterous. Look at the case of Justice Sankale, for instance. They're saying that one share out of 1,000 shares, which is indicated to have been given to the judge in 1999, and the office of a director of that company, which again moved from the judge in 2002 to Wairimu, the wife of the late Tob Cohen, is indicative of motive to murder. I mean, how spurious can this be? Amongst many other things that we have enumerated. And look, if we were to start a lynch mob on the Director of Public Prosecution, what do we really want to achieve when this office is supposed to be insulated from this interference?
Right.
Yeah. And he has a lot of work to do. Why must he be called to answer to these stupid questions that do not have any foundation whatsoever?
Let's talk about human rights. And this is with regards to what's in the news now.
Yes.
The death of Agnes Wanjiru in 2012, allegedly in the hands of a British soldier in Nanyuki. This matter was, of course, reported to the police then. This matter went into a judicial inquest. We haven't seen any progress in Kenyan courts. Then it's reported in British media, and now we see, the head of the Batuk in Kenya, the High Commissioner in Kenya, speaking and saying, yeah, we are cooperating with the police and Kenyan authorities with regards to investigations into this murder. Now, this is Agnes Wanjiru, who died 9 years ago, left a family that does not know what happened to their kin, left a child that does not know what happened to its mother, and the pursuit for justice seems to have taken, a very long route and become a cold case until a British newspaper brings it back up to light. So what is it that would make such a case take so long? And from your own observation and understanding of how, police investigations and prosecutions work, why did it take so long for this case to go to court?
Well, Latiff, look, who is supposed to investigate is the National Police Service. What is the relationship between the government of the Republic of Kenya and the government of the United Kingdom? What is it that underlies their relationship insofar as these military trainings are concerned? And there could be reason, there could be motive to conceal these egregious crimes, and that explains why this particular case has taken long to unfold. And it's deplorable. It is deplorable. So the British High Commissioner must do more than talking. They must surrender the suspect as soon as possible so that investigations are concluded and he is prosecuted for this heinous murder. Because these transgressions have prevailed. Not so long ago, they torched an elephant. No action was taken against these soldiers. I mean, what is it that they're doing here in Kenya? Yeah, we must examine to that extent, because we don't want a repeat of these things.
And the Law Society that you currently are heading, what has it done? I mean, yes, there are very many cases that the Law Society of Kenya has taken to court, public interest cases.
Yes.
And you can say they are big cases. Do you choose some of these cases because of their high profile? And so a case like Agnes Wanjiro's, which really would not be making such big headlines, would not be a sweet thing for LSK to take to court? Why don't we see LSK, for example, taking these cases to court? Agnes Wanjiro's case, the case of the Samburu community, those who have been maimed and others killed by an exploded ordnance, it's taken by others in court. Why don't we see LSK being more active?
LSK has been very active, but it must be understood that LSK also has its limitations. First and foremost, we are a statutory organization. We are a statutory body with a lot of responsibilities that transcend litigation, public interest litigation. But the Law Society, if it is under the leadership of credible individuals like myself, will always be fought. You understand? But we're not complaining, we're just explaining. Yeah. And there are many cases that come to us. We take, but we're not able to exhaust all these cases. But now that this has been pointed out, we'll be able to see what can be done so as we propel.
But Nelson, there have been many opportunities like this. Yeah. When a British lawyer Lady comes to Kenya and goes and organizes a community, takes their case, when he also goes and organizes a community of ex-Mau fighters, takes their case, when he does the same with a community around the farm in Muranga, takes their case, you ask yourself, but why are people who should be speaking on behalf of Kenyans, who understand the system in Kenya, why are they silent? Why are they quiet? A case such as this one of Agnes Wanjiro's, which has been there since 2012, and I'm sure this is not the only one. There may be other complaints against the British Army Training Unit in Kenya that have been lodged within Laikipia, within maybe Samburu, but we don't see them.
I agree with you, and I don't want to fault you, because often in life, people will see what you've not done, and they will not want to see what you've done. And I've explained the reason as to why we are in this state. We, as the Law Society, are not funded by the government, yet we do work that is synonymous to a government agency. In fact, of a greater magnitude. Yeah. Look, as president of the Law Society, I'm supposed to have the same qualifications as the Chief Justice of the Republic of Kenya. We sit in so many organizations that require our input. We participate in so many appointments. We give oversight. Yet you're supposed to do this within this constricted environment where there is no finance, where what you do is always curtailed. But I want to tell you that a good leader must admit where the plate is full, where the plate is overflowing. And it's because of what I have done during my administration that questions of this kind have been elicited. Because you've seen the potential in us to deliver. That's the reason as to why you expect us to deliver on this. And I expect whoever will take over from me will be able to accomplish this, because I'm on my way out. But that does not mean I will stop championing the rights of Kenyan human rights.
Mr. Harvey, so that we don't judge you harshly or wrongly, tell us about public interest cases that involved the undertrodden in this community that the LSK has undertaken during your tenure?
Fine. Now, on the 16th of April 2020, Justice Weldon Korir gave a judgment insofar as the enforcement of the curfew is concerned. He said, yes, the curfew can be left to persist for purposes of containing COVID-19, but the police should exercise restraint, ensure that they do not violate human rights. You remember on the Friday that the curfew was declared, how many people did we lose? That Friday alone, we lost 7 people. It is as a result of that decision that we have, despite the loss of more lives, destruction of property, it's not been rampant. You understand? What about the merger between KQ and KA? The Law Society presented a memorandum in Parliament to object to this heinous enterprise, the effect of which was to continue impoverishing Kenyans. Look at minimum tax. Look at the BBI itself. Who benefits from this? Is it the downtrodden or is it the mighty? It is the downtrodden. You understand? But as I've said, and I will continue saying, the mere fact that you expect us to do more is a realization of what we have done within the last 2 years. And I pray whoever succeeds me takes on from where I've left and doesn't drop the ball, because the Law Society has now been elevated to a very high pedestal. Its lost glory has been regained. And this explains why the government is so determined to contain me with the hope that they are containing the Law Society, which is a flawed premise upon which to respond to what we're doing. But be guaranteed the Law Society will continue performing its role for the downtrodden.
Is there another one of those roles, what we've heard recently, that former Chief Justice Willie Mutunga had said that he would go and bring back Miguna Miguna? You then, not long after that, decided that you would also be on this trip. Why is this so important? Or is this another role in which the rights of Kenyans are being looked after by the Law Society? Why is it such an important issue?
Very, very fundamental. Look, Dr. Willie Mutunga has been in this struggle from the 70s. It's like an old general saying that I want to come back and fight because you youngsters have failed us. You understand? And I don't think it's an indictment on us. It's an indictment on the state, the government. And to what extent, for what reason? There are about 15 decisions that have determined that Miguna is a Kenyan citizen by birth, that have determined that his purported deportation from Kenya was unlawful. The courts have said he ought to come back. Why is he not coming back? Why is the government not obeying these court orders? And the Law Society was an interested party in this case of Miguna Miguna. You remember, I was the lead lawyer from the beginning to the end. Some of the cases have been handled by Dr. Haminwa, but we set up from the beginning to challenge this action. Now, if Miguna Miguna cannot be allowed to come back to Kenya, and this is a question that Dr. Willie Mutunga has posed, those individuals seeking high office in this country, in particular those seeking to be president of this republic, must explain to us why they cannot voice their concern, why they cannot prevail upon President Uhuru Kenyatta to ensure that his government obeys court orders and Miguna Miguna is allowed back in Kenya. Because they're all with access to the president. What has changed? And that explains why Dr. Willie Mutunga has taken this initiative. And it is his initiative. On my part, I've said I'm ready, willing, and able to accompany him and do all that is legally permissible within
What do you
our
expect to
power
happen?
to bring him back.
What do you expect to happen? I mean, in the context of you understand, you have dealt with this particular case, you've seen what has happened and how Miguna Miguna left the country. What do you expect to happen? Your flight departs Canada on its way to Kenya, arrives at JKIA. What then?
The government of Kenya has been very trivial in its handling of this matter. What danger does Miguna Miguna pose to the government? And put aside even the danger, doesn't he have a legal right to be here, a legal right that has been asserted by the court? Now, the last time Miguna attempted to come back to Kenya, there was a red alert, and that's why Lufthansa could not board him for purposes of the Kenyan destination. And these red alerts do not have any legal justification. So that the biggest hurdle we face are the red alerts.
What is a red alert?
I mean, it's a pointer that this particular passenger is a security threat and he should not be allowed on a plane. How can Miguna Miguna be a security threat, yet the courts of his country have determined that he's entitled to come back? Yeah. But you see, the most unfortunate thing is that some of these airlines are not subject to the Kenyan jurisdiction. So that, yes, we have a court order, but we'll need to be moving.
But who else are red alerts issued for? And what are the circumstances, apart from this one of ours, are red alerts issued for?
I mean, it would be prudent to issue a red alert against a drug trafficker, a terrorist, or a suspected criminal, and for good reason, so that when they board the plane, notification is made, they're able to locate him or her for purposes of apprehension. What is the purpose of a red alert on Miguna Miguna?
So essentially they put Miguna Miguna in the same category as these individuals we've mentioned, these groupings.
Indeed, and that aggravates the violation of his rights. Yeah, he is a Kenyan. Courts have said he ought to come back. On what basis are you prohibiting him from coming back?
Indeed. Nelson, we have about a minute before we say goodbye to our audience on KTN Home, but the show continues on SpiceFM. The court has basically said that the judges who were not appointed by the president should be appointed within 14 days, failure to which they stand appointed, and the Chief Justice can then go ahead and swear them in. What do you make of that? Was it a judgment or was it a ruling? I don't know, understand the language.
Yeah, it was a judgment of 3 judges of the High Court. What do I make of it? It speaks to the egregious conduct of the President of the Republic of Kenya. For him, the Constitution has always stood on his way. It's an inconvenience. But it also speaks to other things. The judiciary is getting emboldened day after day to make decisions that conform with the Constitution and call out the executive. So that effective 4th of November, and it's expected that President Uhuru Kenyatta will not swear them in. I mean, let's not look for surprise. He will not swear them in. Now, the ball is on the court of Chief Justice Martha Koome. And this is the biggest test that has been laid for her. Will she do the right thing, as did Chief Justice David Maraga before her when he swore in Mohamed Wasame, when President Uhuru Kenyatta and the Attorney General had refused to gazette him and swear him in as a commissioner of the Judicial Service Commission? How will the executive react when she does that? Because there is this false construct that the power to gazette and swear in is the power given to the president. I mean, I'm sure the president's advisors must be telling him if she dares swear them in, she'll be committing treason.
Let's continue this conversation after the news. This is Kenya's biggest conversation, The Situation Room. We've been live on KTN Home since the top of the hour. The conversation continues on SpiceFM, 94.4 in Nairobi, 87.9 Mombasa, 102.5 Kisumu, 96.0 Nakuru, 96.7 Eldoret, Nyeri 90.9 and Malindi is 97.7. The Law Society of Kenya President Nelson Havi is in the studio. We're talking about rule of law, status of human rights in the country. There are very many things that are happening politically, legally, socially, and all of them are pointing to just one thing. Is whether we have proper rule of law, whether human rights are being upheld in this country. Keep it right here for more of these conversations coming up in the next hour. A very good morning to you. It's now 9 a.m.
spice up your life. The latest news from around the world. 94.4 Spice FM.
This is Newswire. Dennis Aseto. As the politics of 2022 general elections continue to mature, ODM is in Mombasa County to sell party leader Raila Odinga as the preferred presidential candidate next year. Mombasa County has remained being a major ODM stronghold despite other coastal counties showing signs of splitting its votes, with the inroads being made by other political parties. MP Abdul Somad Sharif Nasir has said that ODM's candidacy cannot be compromised by another party, stressing that Raila is in a unique position to win next year's election, sentiments shared by Jovu MP Badi Twalib.
Chama chetu cha ODM ni chama ambacho kwamba kina mizizi katika Kenya nzima. Kwa muda wa mara mbili, mimi katika umri wangu nimepigana na Raila Amolo Odinga. Na hata hii ya juzi mwisho sote tunajua ya kwa kura ziliibiwa, sio? Kama kuna chance ambayo kwamba Raila Amolo Odinga anaweza kuhakikisha ya kwa ataingia katika uongozi katika chance zote nyingine, hii ndio yenye uzito zaidi.
Kwa hivyo mimi nimesema sana, na yale ambayo nimesema sana, chama chetu, msimamo wetu sisi ni ODM.
Deputy President William Ruto has arrived in Kasemeini area, Kibwezi West, where he is meeting more than 1,000 delegates from Ukambani region. He was received by James Mbaluka, who is a UDA party member in Makueni. He is accompanied by Kiharu MP Ndindi Nyoro, Turkana Governor Joseph Nanok, Victor Munyake, Machakos Town MP, former Machakos Senator Johnson Mudhama, among others. He will later address rallies at Mtito Andei, Kambu, Machinery, Kibwezi, Makindu, among other towns along the Mombasa-Nairobi highway. Now, a 12-year-old girl has been rushed to Rachonyo Sub-County Hospital in Oyugis after being raped and left in Kodera Forest. The victim was found unconscious by forestry officers who were on patrol. Area Assistant Chief Edward Ogello said the girl had injuries, a sign that she might have been sexually assaulted. He said the girl might have stayed in the forest for more than 3 days after being defiled. Now, the British government has pledged to fully cooperate with the investigation into the murder of Agnes Wanjiru, a Kenyan woman who was allegedly stabbed to death by a British soldier in 2012. In a statement released Sunday, UK High Commissioner to Kenya Jane Marriott expressed her outrage and concern over Wanjiru's tragic death. Her statement comes after the Sunday Times published an investigation on alleged Kenyan and UK authorities' cover-up on the matter. According to Marriott, the UK Special Investigation Branch carried out probe after the incident and provided information about British personnel to the Kenyan police. According to the investigation, Wanjiru was stabbed to death and her body was dumped in a septic tank after a night of revelry with the British soldier. Sudan's Prime Minister Abdallah Hamdok has been put under house arrest following a military coup. Local media reports indicate that an unidentified military force besieged the Prime Minister's house earlier today. According to Al Hadath TV, a military force also arrested several civilian officials, including the Prime Minister's media advisor and a member of the country's ruling Sovereign Council. Sudan has been on edge since a failed coup plot last month culminated in a power-sharing tussle between the military and civilian groups after the ousting of former leader Omar al-Bashir in the 2019 street protest. According to a transition agreement, elections were due to be held by the end of 2023. To sports, and Eliud Kipchoge has been awarded Best Male Athlete of Tokyo 2020 Olympics at the Association of National Olympic Committee Awards Gala at the sidelines of the annual General Assembly in Crete, Greece. Kipchoge was awarded for his marathon gold medal at the postponed Summer Games that were held in Tokyo, Japan, between July to August 2021. He defended his gold medal, having won the same in Rio 2016 Olympics. The marathon world record holder was awarded by the president of Association of National Olympics Committee in Africa, Mr. Mustafa Beref. And a pair of trainers worn by US basketball star Michael Jordan have sold for a record $1.47 million at auction. Jordan used the pair of red and white Nike airships during his first season with the Chicago Bulls in 1984. That was the year he and Nike began their collaboration to create his signature brand of clothes and shoes. The price is the highest ever paid for game-worn footwear from any sport. Jordan is seen as many as the best player in the history of basketball. This is Newswire. I'm Dennis Aseto.
It still continues in most parts of Nairobi today. We're still looking at Thika Superhighway, which is looking much better now. Just past surveys where we see the traffic, which had otherwise spilled off from Outer Ring. That's looking better. It's also looking a little bit better on Kiambu Road, just inbound traffic, just past, interestingly enough, the DCI headquarters this morning. Not too bad right now. Ngong Road also continues as it does on Uhuru Highway getting into the city. The roundabouts, watch out for them, whether you're looking at Bunyala, the Langata Road roundabout, also going then towards Kenyatta Avenue, and then out then towards Kamkunji. That's where we're going to find pockets of traffic this morning. Watch out for those. If you can avoid them, do that all together. And how can you do that? Use the bypasses. That's the way to do it. Let's talk on SpiceFM KE on Twitter. Text on 40127 this morning.
This is The Situation Room, the home of hard-hitting political commentary and penetrating insights about the state of the nation. This is a talk radio experience like no other. The Situation Room, a place for hard truths, debates, and elevated conversations. The Situation Room, witty, political, engaging, deep, controversial. In the room, we have C.T. Muga, researcher, academic, seasoned political observer, a fountain of wisdom in these politically uncertain times. Ndu Okoh, Nigerian by birth, Kenyan by choice, communications expert, Pan-Africanist, a truth seeker and believer in people power, and Eric Latiff, agent provocateur, the man in the chair, seasoned journalist, news hound, a man who believes in punching up, not down. This is The Situation Room.
7 after 9.
The
Good
only
morning.
way to
Thank you very
start
much
your
for keeping
day.
it locked on Spice FM and online, wherever you are tuned in this morning from the country or around the world. We still have Nelson Harvey, the president of the Law Society of Kenya, with us in the Situation Room. This man wants to be the next MP for Westlands constituency. He'll tell us about that a little while later. But let's first hear today's proverb from C.T. Muga.
Mchetu karuswa nandiro. I am certain this is not how it is pronounced or enunciated, but I will read it in the manner in which I would read something in English or Kiswahili. Mchetu karuswa nandiro. A woman is not seduced by crying.
A woman is not seduced by crying.
There's always a strong social element and a relational element when proverbs are enunciated in whichever community. And if you don't contextualize it before now extrapolating it to greater meanings, then you might actually miss the salient points of it. Yes. It doesn't mean you cannot actually get to the heart of a woman by crying your eyes out. You could. However, what really are they saying?
Yeah.
Yes. Men have been known to get favor by simply crying, literally, wailing.
And then they are considered. There's now another consideration when it comes to those men.
Yes.
Huyu ni mwanaume wa kulialia saa zote.
No comment.
Mwanaume aina gani?
In fact, the question is asked,
Huyu ni mwanaume gani?
Sampli gani hiyo mwanaume, surely.
Lia saa zote. Nelson, as we're going to the break, we're talking about this very, very major judgment of the High Court judges. He said, well, the president appointed some, did not appoint others. What happens to them? Basically, the judges said the president must appoint them within the next 14 days, after failure to which they stand appointed and the Chief Justice can then go ahead and swear them in. Now, even before we get there, what is the procedure? What does the law say with regards to appointment of judges from a point of declaration of a vacancy?
Well, simply put in one sentence, the president shall appoint judges on recommendation of the Judicial Service Commission, with exception of the Chief Justice and the Deputy Chief Justice, whose appointment shall be subjected to the approval of the National Assembly. Now, mischievous interpretation of that one line will lead to this conclusion, that if the Judicial Service Commission recommends, then it means the president has the power to accept or reject the recommendation, and that his function of appointment is the ultimate in the continuum of processes leading to the appointment of judges. But that mischievous interpretation is what the Constitution does not envisage. Because before the promulgation of the Constitution, the president had the ultimate power of appointment. And the people of Kenya decided to remove that power from the president because the power was being abused. Now, if the president still retains the ceremonial role, and that ceremonial role is important because the president is the head of state and head of government. It validates this process because even if the appointment is a function of the Judicial Service Commission, it's a function undertaken within the ambit of the functions of the state. So it's important that the president validates this action. But we have a president who, for reasons known to him, because he doesn't like my face, he doesn't like my voice because he's a soprano, he says, you will not be the Chief Justice. And when he's pushed further, he says, you have integrity questions. Which are these integrity questions? How are they supposed to be handled? You submit your petition before the Judicial Service Commission, which again recommends to you as the president to set up a tribunal to remove the charge. Now, if you fail to exercise powers that you're given, be they ceremonial, be they real, then these powers can be taken away from you. Because even the functions, the powers and duties of the president, they're given to him as a trustee of the people. Judges exercise judicial power as trustees of the people. Parliamentarians exercise legislative power as trustees of the people. The people can take this power from you. So what the three judges have said, you have failed to exercise powers given to you for no good reason. We have taken these powers from you. And if you don't appoint these judges within 14 days, your power will cease to reside in you. And it will reside in somebody else as a trustee of the people. I mean, it's a very monumental judgment, Latiff. And because I'm prone to speaking the truth, I didn't expect the judges to do this. But often, the judges keep on surprising us.
What does it do for them?
Pardon?
What does it do for them?
Look, it is self-preservation. It protects the independence of the judiciary. It asserts the role of the judiciary. It makes you and I more comfortable that even that which is given to us, though far-fetched from the prism of a critical thinker, is available to you. You understand? And the more reason as to why people like me will always say, Constitution, Constitution, any day Constitution. And when judges do this, we are proud. And we all need to be proud.
There's some sense of pride, yes, from what the judges have done in terms of like what you're saying, protection of the judiciary and all. But then they've also set their boss up for a new, renewed conflict with the executive. Remember, this was an issue. As soon as she was sworn in and she took office, she has said it herself. She wrote to the president and sought audience with the president. Among the things she wanted to discuss was the appointment of the 40 judges. The following day, after she sent a letter, the president appoints 40 minus 6 judges. And what did the Chief Justice say? She said, yes, I understand. I've seen the action of the president. I'm going to swear in the judges that have been appointed while I pursue another way of getting the other judges appointed. She still said, I still maintain that the others should be appointed. So she basically told everybody, including members of the judiciary, that give me time, allow me to pursue this particular matter in other ways. And then now the High Court comes and says, you know what, Madam Chief Justice, you now must go ahead and swear them in. Forget these other means that you are trying to pursue. Don't you think that sets her up with the executive again?
All leaders are set up. That's why Napoleon said, the people can make you emperor. They can also make you prisoner. And specific to the office of the Chief Justice, it is a political office, much as the holder is a judge. Now, look, I didn't agree with Justice Martha Koome when she acceded to the swearing in of a lesser number of judges than those appointed. But as I've said, it's a political decision, which I respect. It has gone a long way to ensure that we have judges to clear the backlog. And, they were languishing, these nominees. So let's not fault Martha Koome for that decision, because every politician will make a decision depending on the environment. And she can still make another good political decision now by swearing in the judges. What does she suffer? Because you see, a leader is like a surfer. You need to monitor the wave. And if the wave is conducive to take you ashore, you follow it. What is the public mood right now? If Martha Koome was to notify that she will swear in these 6 judges on the 5th of November, guess who will be there as the first to witness? Yours truly, you understand? We'll go there to validate. And she has nothing to lose. So, yes, she's been set up.
You're sure she has nothing to lose?
She's got nothing to lose. Look, it's
Are
not...
you saying that her office doesn't require the goodwill of the executive?
It requires the goodwill of the executive, but it requires the goodwill of the people of Kenya more than that of the executive for her to maintain a legacy. And as a political leader, she must always listen to the heartbeat of the people. What is the heartbeat of the people of Kenya? You understand? Do the right thing. Look, Maraga is celebrated. He's loved by everybody. He was frustrated in his administration, but he stood for the right thing. He always stood with the people. He will go down as the most respected Chief Justice we've ever had. Martha Koome has the opportunity of doing the same thing. And what harm can they do to her? They can't take away her car. They can't take away her salary. They can't lock her office. They can't kill her. You understand? Let her do the right thing. Swear in the 6 judges so that the democratic space, the rule of law that we have enjoyed in the recent past is sustained.
Okay, so it's so much we've heard in terms of the independence of the judiciary being usurped by the executive. Is this now one opportunity to show that perhaps things are changing?
Things are changing, and they've been changing for a while. But one admission that must be made, worldwide, all heads of state will want to have control of the judiciary. Even if you were to elect me president today, I'll want to have control. It's natural. You understand?
Yep.
No wonder, therefore, we have these safeguards in the Constitution. And whilst you enjoy those safeguards, if you're given the power to ensure that those safeguards are maintained, maintain them. Yeah. Because it's always a contest, the executive and the judiciary. I mean, you're looking for a way to go around this demand, this restriction. And it's the responsibility of the other arm of government to continue, which is natural. That's why we have checks and balances. Yes. We're all human, even when you're given higher responsibilities in office. You will want to overreach. That's why somebody must be there to prevent your overreach. Yeah.
You know, I actually think that what is being presented as differences, I'm not going to use the word disagreement, I have maintained that it is really good for us as laymen and citizens because it shows us, it opens us up to understanding the Constitution more.
Yes.
Because these independent institutions in reality are new in terms of concept and in terms of the actual operationalization of them. Because my mindset as a Kenyan, even now as I speak, is that of a president who actually wields supreme and executive power. The checks and balances, yes, academically speaking, I understand them. But when put to practice, it's, as I say, new. So whenever we have a situation that seems to be adversarial, where the executive seems to be at loggerheads with the judiciary, it is a really good thing for us. It's a good thing for the country. It's a horrible thing when one sees the other independent arm of government, the National Assembly, doing what it does, acting as hired goons and thugs for the executive. Yeah, but that's what they do. The very things that you expect they would stand up and be counted for are the very things they don't stand up and are counted for. So it's continuous. So we, the citizens, are left in limbo and you wonder, why on earth it is you even have a National Assembly. Again, since the opportunity presents itself, maybe the president ought to do what Justice Maraga asked him to do.
What? Dissolve Parliament?
Dissolve Parliament.
Send them home.
Elder, I don't want you to be afraid of offering your name to be elected as President of the Republic of Kenya for fear that it's a powerless office. It's a very powerful office, you understand? And it will still retain its power, notwithstanding the checks and balances. Look at the President of the United States of America. He is subjected to a lot of restrictions, but when he or she acts within the powers given to him or her by the Constitution, is still a very powerful individual. What does it benefit you as the President of the Republic of Kenya to be ashamed every Friday because decisions are given on Friday when your decisions are declared null and void? You can imagine his nickname is null and void. You understand? He will still be very powerful if he acceded to what was right, if he did that which was just. He'll be benevolent, you understand? But yes, democracy, like a tree, grows. And as it grows, there will be seasons. The weather will change. And I must confess, what you pointed out is quite correct. It is through these things that we're able to see what really is the benefit of the Constitution, what is the rule of law. Because if they are not there, you wouldn't perceive them. Somebody said yesterday, I think it must have been one of the articles in the Standard, that Moi was never accused of disobeying a court order because he wouldn't let an order be made against him. He will always act within the Constitution. Huh? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And some of us really admire Moi. There are many things that are untoward about him. But why will I will not disobey a court order. You understand? Let me just act in a manner that there will be no order
There will be no order against you anyway.
For me to disobey. You get it? But within the constitutional setup, you understand? Do the right thing.
No.
Yeah.
Moi, actually, one could argue, was prudent in that he ensured that his appointees from the Chief Justice, those who are supposed to prosecute, those who are supposed to follow that chain of command, would not allow a situation.
Elder, let me give you a good example. Moi once said, let Tanui Agwe judge. And then the Attorney General did not get the name properly. Instead of bringing Tanui, he brought Tunoi. Yeah, and then, he had been gazetted. So, you see what the current president will have to say. No, it's not this. But Moi just looked the other side. Okay, fine.
Let him have it.
Yeah, that's how a leader is supposed to act. I mean, the mistake is negligible.
There's always a debate about whether it is the president or whether it is advisors. And then there are those who say, but it is the president who chooses his advisors. And then there are those who also say, indeed. But are you then saying that because you've been chosen as an advisor, it doesn't behove you to point the president in the right direction?
You know, the buck stops with you. In the medieval times, when the people wanted to hang, guillotine, or shoot the king or the emperor, it's you that they killed. They didn't kill your advisors. You understand? And it was not an excuse or a defense that this was the advice given to me by Latiff or Ndu or the elder. Yes, you need to take advice, but the ultimate decision is yours. There are things that you can do right even without seeking counsel of somebody.
So you're saying many of these things boil down to the individual.
It is the individual.
What sort of person that individual is.
It is the individual. Look, the Constitution is written in very simplistic English. Yeah, everybody understands it. So, and look, I have advisors, Elder. Yeah, I listen to them. I will not dispute what they are saying. If they're telling me bullshit, I will do the opposite. Understand? Because I'll go and do my own research. But woe betide you if you are king, if you are president. And how much advice How many people will give you counsel? You see how many people advise me on Twitter? My follower base is almost 750. Everybody wants to advise me. How will I go like this? Because you're advising me to go that side.
Yeah.
I must make a decision. So the ultimate responsibility for the decision, as the great American president said, the buck stops here. Yeah. After Uhuru Kenyatta is out of office, you wouldn't even know this character called Kariuki Kihara. He will dissipate. He will fizzle like the whirlpool, like the devil dust. Nobody will know of him. Do you know who was his successor? Who was his predecessor?
Yes.
And the one before him? And the one before him?
Yes.
They're about two
They're
attorney
not many
generals.
attorney generals.
No.
No, there are about two attorney generals that are alive here before Amos Wako that we don't know of. You understand?
And they're alive and well.
That's the point. So, but we still talk about the ills of President Daniel Arap Moi, who was advised by them. You understand? Yeah. How much blameworth is attributed to Amos Wako for the duration that he was President Daniel Arap Moi's advice? Where? None. Amos Wako is a respected lawyer. You get it? Yeah. So he has distinguished himself. He's come out. Yeah. The President of the Republic of Kenya must always do the right thing. And when you do the right thing, you'll be able to walk the streets of Nairobi without, like Flight Lieutenant Jerry Rawlings. You remember before his death, the guy could drive in the streets of Accra and get out of his jeep and clear traffic.
Sure.
You want to tell me our president can do that? They will be pelted with stones.
I doubt it.
Fine.
Nelson, so you want to be MP?
Yes.
All right. And just from what you were saying earlier, you were saying you've seen that there are very many failures and you want to put yourself in the ring so that you can be part of those that are bringing change and mending these failures. Now, do you really honestly believe that by becoming a member of parliament, you are going to change the way things have been done in the legislature?
Absolutely, yes, Latif. Look at the last 2 years that I've been in office as president of the Law Society. We've been very impactful in monitoring legislation. We have played a fundamental role in oversighting the executive, in defending the rights of the downtrodden and the might. But as we commenced this discussion, I indicated the primordial role lies with Parliament. Parliament is tasked with the responsibility of ensuring that we have good legislation. There is equitable distribution of the national revenue. There is proper oversight of the executive and state agencies. And above all, a member of National Assembly is given a special kitty for infrastructural development towards ameliorating the poverty situation in that particular area. Why is it that fuel prices are high? Why is it that HELB loan continues being a burden to students? Why is it that taxes continue going up, rent, the cost of living? What have our legislators done? It is for this reason that I've offered myself to represent the people of Kenya through a constituency peculiar, Westlands, to ensure that those four main responsibilities of a member of National Assembly are performed. And my track record speaks to my selflessness, the ability to confront evil, the desire to do good for the people. And this is something that can be done. It will be done.
What would you tackle? There seems to, every time I look at, there's a litany of issues, around the country. And every time we look at this, we say, okay, can you really have your finger on all these, openings here and there? What would you tackle? What pops out at you as the most important things that must be dealt with?
Good laws. That is the starting point. Because good laws sustain a democracy. Good laws make everything perfect. What is it that is told about our legislators? Look, without picking any particular member of National Assembly or member of the Senate, how did they vote on the BBI bill? How did they vote on the fuel levy? How did they vote on the on the minimum tax, digital tax, HELB? You get it? These are the things that affect everybody across the spectrum, whether you're in the low class, middle class, or the upper class. It's a trickle-down effect. So I have 4 main responsibilities, but one which is Herculean, but which is within my ability to surmount, is good laws. I mean, only one person needs to stand out and do something.
Right.
Like Fidel Castro said, I started the revolution with 90 men. I will still do it today with 15 men. It requires one man, one woman to do it. What if there are many of us? You journalists, why don't you offer yourself to be elected? Doctors, engineers, nurses. That's why we have many people in parliament who have struggled to buy degrees to go there, because they're not known for anything they do. I know this chap is a distinguished journalist. I know this lady, she's a distinguished journalist. I know this gentleman is a distinguished journalist. You know me, I'm a distinguished lawyer. If you had to parade some of these characters and ask them, what do you do? They will not be able to tell you what they do. That is why you cannot hold them accountable to any ethics, any ethos, any values. And with my proven track record as a lawyer of 18 years, experience as a champion of human rights, the rule of law, and above all, as the most fought president of the Law Society, as Elder will say here.
How's that for an accolade?
I have the battle scars
Let's take a break now.
required for this purpose.
Let's take a break now. Take a look at traffic and then come back. I'll be very interested to hear exactly how you hope to change things just by being a solitary member in that National Assembly. If we look at the track record of the current Parliament, the 12th Parliament, the 11th Parliament, now let's just put Nelson Harvey among those and let's see. How different would it be? It's 28 minutes to 10. This is Kenya's biggest conversation, the Situation Room. Let's be back after the break.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day. Spice up your life.
On your march. Set.
The Standard Chartered Nairobi Marathon is back. Virtual Marathon and Elite Marathon. Sign up for the virtual race at 1,000 shillings only and run from wherever you are or from select hotspots around Nairobi. To register, visit www.nairobimarathon.com. Choose your preferred distance from 5 kilometers, 10 kilometers, 21 kilometers, or 42 kilometers and decide the day you will run between 25th and 31st October 2021. To track your run, download and use the Strava app. When you register, you will receive a race kit that includes a shirt, medal, and bag. Kits will be collected at either KICC or at selected hotspots. All proceeds from the marathon go to help young people learn, earn, and grow through our Future Makers program. Join us and let us run as one. Standard Group are proud to be the official media partners of the Stanchart Marathon 2021.
102.5 Spice FM.
Cloudy conditions in Nairobi. Sun
Kisumu.
will come out at some point. Highs of 26 and lows of 15. It's sunny in Nakuru at 20, highs of 27 and lows of 15. And it's raining in Nyeri at 19 with highs of 26. We'll see lows of 15. Eldoret is sunny at 22, highs of 25 and lows of 13. In Mombasa, light rain at 27, highs of 30 and lows of 24. While in Malindi, it is sunny at 28, highs of 30 and lows of 25. Kisumu is sunny at 26. We'll see highs of 30 and lows of 19, while in Kakamega it's raining now at 26, highs of 29 and lows of 14. We're looking at partly sunny conditions in Kampala at 24 with highs of 29 and lows of 18, and in Dar es Salaam it's raining at 29, highs of 31 and lows of 24. Johannesburg at 13 is raining as well, highs of 22 and lows of 11, while in Lagos it's sunny at 25, highs of 32 and lows of 24. Sunny conditions in Kinshasa at 24, highs of 32 and lows of 23. The smog is quite heavy in Beijing this morning at 19, that'll be today's high, and lows of 8, while in Paris at 9 degrees it's cloudy, highs of 16 and lows of 8. In London, clear conditions at 11, highs of 16 and lows of 10, and waking up to Monday morning, New York is cloudy at 16, chance of rain and flash floods watch is high. 23 will be the high and lows of 15. But on Thika Superhighway, we're just seeing that pocket of traffic around Muthui Square that connects with what is left of traffic on Kiambu Road today. Through and through in Westlands, a little bit of traffic here and there. Where we're seeing the most traffic this morning is the CBD, coming in from Uhuru Highway and also Jogo Road this morning. A little bit on Gong Road here and there as you go towards the community area. That's where you see the most of it for now, and within the CBD. We're out of traffic hour in a short while. Mombasa Road did behave very well. 3 stars for you. Let's see what it looks like through the morning. SpiceFM KE on Twitter. We're going to text on 40127.
Spice up your life. Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings
24
done
minutes
right.
to 10. Kenya's biggest conversation continues. In the room is Nelson Harvey, President of the Law Society of Kenya. As we continue to hear what he wants to do as a Member of Parliament, let's hear from Anthony, who's calling from Mombasa. Good morning.
Good morning, Anthony from Mombasa.
How are you?
I'm fine. Aspiring MPS Walangombe.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I had His Excellency Harvey is on the studio.
Yes.
Anthony, just pause for a second. Let me ask, Ziwalangombe, is that a ward or a constituency?
Ziwalangombe is a ward in Nyeri constituency, my friend.
Ah, okay. Please go on.
Yes, we have 5 wards, so Ziwalangombe is one of those 5 wards in Nyeri constituency.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I wanted to tell Mr. Harvey this, that he should fight on because he is the most fought president of the judiciary.
Mm.
He has fought for it. I believe Harvey is the best person to be the member of parliament of Embakasi.
Westlands.
In fact, he should, or Westland, he should have fought for a bigger post than that because I believe Harvey is the best bet. But I don't support him on the side of his presidential choice. But that is his democratic right.
Okay.
I will wish to tell Harvey to maintain his position and fight for the democracy in this country because it is well known that someone like Harvey, when he is coming up to fight for a political seat, they are being told that they are projects of someone. And that is the politics that is killing the entire nation.
Thank you. Thank you, Anthony.
You have to be associated by so-and-so is when you become, you know. So I want to tell Harvey to keep the fight ahead.
Message sent home. Karanja in Naivasha, hello.
Well, yes, good morning, City. And Nelson Harvey there.
Good morning.
Good morning,
Good
Karanja.
morning, Karanja.
Yes, thank you, Harvey. Now, Harvey, let me take you back in 1988. The Constitutional Amendment Act, number 4 of 1988. You remember what happens? The judge was not supposed to comment publicly and even retire or resign. Number 2, you remember in 2009, the current the person who assumes office, Willy Mutunga, made concrete recommendations on the issue of the judicial reforms, expected to strengthen the institution of judicial. Now, I welcome your move. At Article 159.1 of the Constitution, you know how it is says about the people. I welcome your move. And even if it is allowed, I can change my voting card to West. I can vote for you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Karanja. Come to the IBC offices in Westlands, just near Safaricom, and change your vote. Your vote counts. We need it in Westlands.
Thank you. Or you do this.
Yes.
You can come to Naivasha.
Go via Naivasha.
Mutuma had been a member of parliament. He was from somewhere.
Yes.
The current member for parliament, we know where he's come from.
Yes.
So you can come to Naivasha. Naivasha will welcome everybody, provided you have a mind for the people of Naivasha. Thank you very much.
Well done. I'll come.
Thank you, Karanja. Thank you. Let's hear from Karaoke. Karaoke is in Nakuru. Good morning.
Good morning to you.
Good morning, Karaoke.
My greatness go to Harvey. I always like commenting when he is there. My question to my friend, the president of the Law Society, is now that you are entering into this few the forest called Parliament, you know that's how we call it down here.
Yes.
Now that you are entering there, and according to our understanding to the members of Parliament, they vote according to the party they are related to, especially the party leader or maybe where you come from. For instance, for example, will you be able truly to do what you have been doing independently? If I truly want to give an instance where Senior Counsel Orengo and Molo, this was the day before BBI was brought down. Remember, they wanted to give their own opinion in terms of the BBI. And when they went to a burial ceremony in Nyanza, they were nearly beaten by the followers of the party leader. Remember that? Now, my question is, will you be able to express yourself according to maybe your independent mind? Will you be able to do that, Mr. President of the Law Society? That's my question, my dear.
Valid question, Karaoke. Start with that one.
Karaoke, political parties are subordinate to the Constitution. I have upheld the Constitution in the last 2 years that I've been president of the Law Society, despite many demands and pressure. Yes, I know there is need for you to align yourself with the political position by your party, but I also realize that the people are more important. If the party position will contradict what the Constitution requires of me, I will not follow the party position, and I'll be prepared to take the consequences. I will not retreat to a toilet to be given 20,000 shillings just to vote because my political party says this and this. And Karaoke, it must also be understood that these members of parliament you've just listed had an option. If the party really thought what they were doing was unconstitutional or unlawful, it could deal with them, and they will have an option of coming back to parliament through another vehicle or through an independent way. And for me, I have said time without number, I'm not in competition with any presidential election candidate, governor, senator, woman rep, or MCA. I will work for the people of Westlands irrespective of who they want as their leader in all those other positions.
You know, being in parliament is basically a team sport. You are there, you want certain piece of legislation passed, you've got to convince your fellow members of parliament to support you. Yes. If you want it to flop, you've got to convince them to support you. So you've got to work with the team. Now, what would you do if you get to parliament and everybody else in that team is basically a shark? And you're the only one who's sober. The others are listening to the whims. They're being controlled from outside. There is some external factor that they have to listen to. And you are saying that you want to be truthful to the people who brought you to parliament. How would you then conduct yourself?
This is a very valid question, Latiff. When I ran for office of president of the Law Society, there are many who told me, look, Harvey, you're very abrasive, you're very confrontational, but we'll vote you. We'll vote you in because you stand for something. And at this particular point in time, we need a bold leader, one who's able to project our views without hesitation. And you've also spoken about the power to convince. I was able to convince them. And even with the tumult that my father-in-law here and elder always speaks about, there's unanimity of thought from a majority of lawyers that I have the power to convince. I mean, if I didn't have the power to convince, how will we be winning these cases in court? Because winning cases in court is just about convincing the judge to see why your legal arguments based upon the facts are correct. And same with Parliament. I'll be able to speak to my colleagues so that they see the need for us to transform Kenya from where it is to a greater position. And I'm proud to say that many of my members have acceded the call for them to run for public office, either as senator or as member of National Assembly. And I want to beseech many more professionals, you understand, nurses, engineers, architects, journalists, teachers, to run for public office. Because, you see, these are the people with the intellectual wherewithal to be convinced. The rest will not have that ability. And that's why it's important for the people of Kenya. If you are in Naivasha, if you are in Nakuru, if you are in Ziwa Langombe, to elect a member of National Assembly and Senate who will have the same capacity as that which you've pointed out of me, so that I don't meet unnecessary resistance when I'm putting before the National Assembly a bill that is intended to better the situation of the people of Kenya. Because what I put before Parliament as a member of National Assembly for Westlands will benefit the entire public, not just people of Westlands. The only thing that benefits the people of Westlands when I'm acting for them is the use of the CDF fund. And that is just but one of the four main responsibilities of a member of National Assembly.
Mr. Avi, are you planning to run on an independent ticket?
You know, sometimes you may want to board stagecoach. Remember stagecoach? Or a matatu? Or take a plane? But you may as well walk to your destination. And that is a valid question that has been asked by Kariuki. You are entering this filthy forest. But Kenya is a multi-party democracy where the first port of call is a political party. I will want to run on the basis of a political party. In fact, one that is a major political party, so that we are in government to enable the people of Westland, the people of Kenya, benefit from the democratic space.
My second question, are you planning to be a one-term MP?
Elder, the people maketh the emperor, the people removeth the emperor. I believe if the people want me to be a one-term MP, it is their choice. If the people see that my service, but I mean, somebody said, I think it is Kariuki or the gentleman from Ziwa Langombe, Anthony, said I should even go for bigger office. What if the people say you should be a one-term MP, but thereafter go for something big?
Something else.
Yeah.
So, a major political party is a means to an end for you? Is that what you're saying essentially, that the end goal is to get there, right? And to be used as a vehicle to get there? Because we then find that people join a political party just for that, to be able to get to the position. Would that be the same for you? Or would you believe in the ideals, or in, unfortunately, this case, the character of the personality who runs the political party?
Look, you're right in your question. It is a vehicle. And I'm also right in my answer. You may take the vehicle, you may run where you're going. And it will be prudent, because political parties have the muscle of determining agenda in Parliament. I would want to work within the environment of a political party, but I will also want to inculcate the culture of constitutionalism within that political party. Look, when President Ronald Reagan was found culpable of the Watergate scandal, I mean, an enterprise done by a very junior...
No, Watergate was Nixon.
Yes, you're right. Richard Nixon, sorry. Thank you for the correction. He realized that what the party had done was wrong. And despite sticking to the party position, he had to leave office. So the most important thing that we need to emphasize is the value, the qualities, the ethos of a leader. The moment you have that leader in Parliament, the demands of his party will still be pursued within the confine of the Constitution. And let me tell you the truth, and the whole truth, but nothing but the truth. Raila Amolo Odinga is the best example. You understand? You remember his migration from Ford, Kenya to NDP? Because he stood for something. Yeah. And many of us have grown up respecting Raila because he stands for something. He stood for something. You understand? Why can't we also stand for something? You get it? People like James Orengo, who served under perilous times, stood for something. You get it? The democratic space right now for an elected leader is even wider. Why do they fear? You see, every time there's an issue of national concern, they will agree with us when we meet in the marketplaces. They will agree with us when we meet in church. When they go to Parliament, the National Assembly and the Senate, they vote otherwise. Why? Tell me, Elder, why? Who will take away your liberties now? You understand? Why can they do that which Gitobe Manyara, Paul Mwite, Raila Odinga, James Orengo, Martha Karua did in times that were not as conducive as now? And that is the message I'm putting across. Let the people of Kenya elect individuals who stand for something. And the moment those individuals are in Parliament, they will not be isolated. They will be united.
What's to guarantee that this is the same language you would speak then being given that position? Because unfortunately sometimes we find that, there's one language that's spoken before that position is given, and then thereafter disappear into the woodwork or start to speak a different language. What's to guarantee that Nelson Harvey is not, one of those who will get lost in the woodwork?
Well, that's why I'm donning this olive fatigues from Havana. You see, Fidel Castro ascended to power, and Fidel Castro was a lawyer at a very tender age of 32. In fact, in his own memoirs, he never thought he'll make it to 40 because of the dangers and the demands of the office he held. At one point in time when Nikita Khrushchev withdrew support over the Cuba Missile Crisis, he still remained resolute. And even John F. Kennedy could not disentangle him from his stronghold. John F. Kennedy had to give up. You must stand for something, otherwise you'll die for nothing. I stand for something. My track record proves that. The example that I must always be allowed to milk to exhaustion is BBI. This was an enterprise for which there was a lot of money, there was a lot of force. I would have accepted money. I didn't accept money. A lot of money. You understand? I would have been coerced. I didn't. What will change when I have the platform given by the people of Westlands, given by the people of Kenya to advocate for them? It won't change. I will be like this until my entire hair becomes white. If it doesn't drop.
Fidel Castro had one thing going for him. The times in which he stood for what he did and he had the people. He had the support of his people.
Yes.
Unwavering support. Now, the person you mentioned, Raila Odinga, has also had that same advantage in his backyard. Unwavering support, irrespective. Somebody who can actually move with an entire community from one party to the other, even to Kanu. Now, the problem is time and the changes that times bring with it. Because that is what often catches most idealistic leaders like yourself off guard. Because you have a position, yes, a wonderful thing, but times have changed. And the very people you seek to serve love those ideals, but they've been introduced to other ideals that have superseded those noble ideals that certain people held over time. Case in point, our current political leaders. If you know them as individuals, wonderful people who have wonderful ideas, what you marvel at is the metamorphosis, the negative metamorphosis that has happened when they've actually gotten to the position they were supposed to get to. That's the marvel. And if someone isn't alert to the fact that they themselves can face the same dangers, then I think your candidacy already has a problem. Because what has befallen the others can also befall you.
And you're absolutely right, Elder. And that is why I've always said, repeating what Napoleon Bonaparte said, the people maketh the emperor, the people maketh him prisoner. And, the people have a very good heartbeat. You don't need a stethoscope to listen to what they're saying. And what has sustained me all along for the last 2 years, I can tell you, Elder, is not the propulsion that comes out of my heart, my gut. It is the people. And I propose to continue listening to the heartbeat of the people because I don't want to lose the people. And just as a manifestation of that, the best example is what we've been discussing here. I'll be in very treacherous territory where interest groups will want to influence my decision. I will always ask myself, what is good for the people of Westlands? What is good for the people of Kenya? Because it is for self-preservation. If I want to serve for as long as I'm alive, then I must do that which the people want. And I'm also alive to the perilous environment within which you serve the people. But if you are to pick Fidel Castro's example, we should not be able to deviate from what the people want.
Go with the people.
And you see, the beauty in Kenya is the people, after a long struggle, said, this is what we want of our leaders. And they engraved it in the Constitution. And, as we speak right now, I'm one of the few people who hold the Constitution, the speaking document of the people, as dear.
As advocate for the people, and as you say, you want to be there for the people, speak for the people, stand for the people. And now I'm asking you this question as a lawyer as we conclude. In the case of Agnes Wanjiru, and now the renewed vigor to have this matter investigated and concluded, what do you think? Should the particular soldiers be extradited back to Kenya to face trial, to face investigations and trial here?
That should have happened yesterday. And Marriott should stop beguiling Kenyans. Kenyans have suffered under British colonial rule. British soldiers are given the privilege of training in our grounds. They should not abuse that privilege. She should ensure that her government surrenders these people because there are many than that individual who must have been complicit in this heinous murder. For you to conceal a murder of this magnitude, you must have liaised with many people. So Marriott must ensure that this soldier and anybody in the British Army responsible is extradited to Kenya to face trial.
Nelson, thank you very much for joining us again today. Come back before you go to Parliament.
Latiff, may I just make one call?
Yes.
For university students who study and work in Westlands, the BVR kit for registration is now at Parklands campus, University of Nairobi. Please make your way there. I'll be there for the better part of the morning. You may have a chance of meeting me as you come to register to make change in Westlands and Kenya. And I encourage you all, if you're not registered, what better place to register than in Westlands?
Great. So the man is here. He is seeking that you go and register as a voter in Westlands. Of course, hoping that once you register, you vote for him as Member of Parliament. Nelson Harvey, President of the Law Society of Kenya, and aspiring to be Member of Parliament for Westlands constituency in the next National Assembly. Thank you for joining us. Come again soon.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure being
Asante.
hosted by these great minds.
City in 30 seconds. Dance.
Chetu, Karuswa, Nandiro. A woman is not seduced by crying. Choose the weapons for your battle well.
Choose the battles for your weapons.
No.
Right.
Eric, surely.
Nice.
Have a lovely day, folks.
And these do not include tears.
Good morning. It's 10 o'clock.
spice up your life. The latest news from around the world. 94.4 Spice FM.
This is Newsroom. Dennis Aseto. President Uhuru